Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi Show with Peter Yu. Today is a very interesting one. It's going to be Judo for old guys. But
Yeah.
first and foremost, we'd like to thank one of our sponsors, Levon, for
Again, yeah.
sponsoring us. Again, yeah, what a
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for your support and sponsorship. And yeah, this is why we're able to do this. Thanks to your support. So thank you again. And back to Judo for old guys. We got a
Yes.
video out, right? Like it's doing really well. It's generating a lot of discussion in the comment section.
Yeah. So you look at the metrics, right? And
Yeah.
generally in the first 2 days or so, I get between 1,000 to 5,000 views
Uh,
on a video. This is already at 9,000 views within 2 days. Okay.
mhm.
So that means it's doing pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then watch time, 256 hours, added 30 new subscribers, and the impressions click-through rate. That's the one of the big metrics, right?
Uh,
When someone looks at that thumbnail and decides to click on it, 8.1% of people, when they see this thumbnail, they click on it,
okay. Okay. Okay.
which is a
Hey,
very, very good CTR.
look at you. You sounding like a business school guy right now. Very
Oh,
impressive.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is
Nice.
the thing? Like indicator of what is it? Key metric, KPI,
KP.
key performance
Yeah.
indicators.
Yeah. So this
Uh,
is doing really well. Like it's generating just by people just looking at this thumbnail. They're like clicking through right away.
yes. And it's
Yeah.
got the most engagement. It's got
Yeah.
127 comments already.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which means it's like hitting a nerve or
Yeah.
resonating, or a lot of these guys are coming out of the work and saying, "Hey, I'm 38. Hey, I'm 40. Hey, I'm 43." I'm just scrolling through it, right? "Hey, I'm 60 years old. I've been doing judo for a decade. Hey, I'm an 80-year-old judoka." Like, this
Wow.
is absolutely incredible. And people say, right, judo's a young man's game. It kind of is, but there's a
Yeah.
place. There's always a tough as nails older guy in the dojo, right?
Mhm.
That's doing his thing day in and day out, keeping
Right.
himself safe.
Well, maybe we'll start from there. Why do people say judo is a young person's game? Like, what?
Because a good example, right? If you're doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and
Yeah.
the demographic of people doing it is a lot older,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Just as a general, if you walked into any Gen Pop dojo and say, okay, what is the average age or median age or whatever it is, right? They have older people
Hmm.
doing it because there's able to do certain games like half guard, right?
Yeah.
Half guard top, half guard bottom. It doesn't require scrambling around and being super athletic. Like if you're
Hmm.
doing like diving back takes and like varambolos and inversion and stuff like that, there's like sort of a necessary requirement of like flexibility, mobility,
Yeah.
athleticism. Right? But you don't need that stuff to implement some of these games,
Uh huh. I see.
strategical styles of jujitsu.
Uh
Judo, eh, you have to be explosive. You have to be strong. Movements are fast. Everything is dynamic always, almost all the time. Right?
yeah. It's.
And you can't do
Mhm.
things slowly. In jiu-jitsu, you can do things slowly. You could incrementally go half guard and then push the knee down and close the space and then melt into positions and like incrementally climb and then gain position, right? In judo, it's much more fast paced.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 right?
Because
And then there it is. Yeah, you have to
the
explode.
the window of opportunity is very small and it comes and
Narrow.
goes, right? Yeah.
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 And I make this analogy all the time. In jiu-jitsu, it's like bodybuilding.
Uh-huh.
You can go here, you work this, you work that. Very intricate, right? You go
Yeah.
here, you can do this, you can work the muscle from this angle, that angle.
Yeah.
Anyone can go in and be a bodybuilder.
Right. Right.
But Olympic lifting, not everyone can do that. There's
Well,
mobility
especially when you're older.
restrictions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and then it's a lot more explosive, dynamic. It's one or two things explosively, dynamically, right?
That's a good
And
analogy. Yeah.
yeah, the gains are very, very like in between, and these details are very difficult to see.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
So given this, like, what do you mean by judo for old guys? How can you work around it? It's like, it seems like that type of dynamic movements and all is like inherent to the game of judo. So how
Yes.
do you get around that?
So a lot of it is like blocking and restricting your opponent's movement. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Gaining position and then hanging on their head,
Hmm.
right? Or putting your weight on them, or stiff arming them, which I haven't covered in that video that I did. I
Yeah.
did that video half as a joke. Right.
Yeah. But it's
Right.
like, it's like very relevant to a lot of people, seems like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys, just like YouTube search field judo for old guys.
Uh,
And then this will pop up and you watch it. And I give you like sort of 3 different counters from
uh,
dominant position. Right. And
uh,
I give a very easy way to get the dominant position that doesn't require fast gripping, fast movement.
Right.
It's just literally lock up, kick him in the shin for Kochi, right? Which it works.
Wait,
Right? It works.
I do it all the time.
We all do it. We all do it. Older guys tend to do it more.
Yeah, it's very effective because then, the pace becomes like I can adjust the pace of the game to my pace. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you can always connect your shin to your opponent's shin.
Yeah.
Right? You pull their head down, climb up to the collar, stiff arm them when you need to, pull their head down. And then a lot of these young guys just enter direct attacks. And when the direct attacks come in, you can block it. You can counter them.
Yeah.
And that's what it's really like for judo for older guys. You know
I
what
see.
I mean?
So it's, you can, by using clever positioning and grip fighting strategies, you can really slow down the pace so that it's like in your world, like it's something younger people may not be as familiar, or you're just basically restricting their game. That's the main idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a little bit more blocking style. Like,
I
make a joke about it in the video, like, old Asian blocking beats youth wrestling or something like this, and that's what you hear in wrestling adage all the time. Like, you're in the wrestling room and you see these kids like shooting double high C, single to double snap down, blah, 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 fast arm drives. You see these older guys that don't take any shots.
Yeah.
They just block, front headlock, block, maybe a snatch single, right?
Sometimes they can't even get down. Like,
they can't shoot on their knees.
Yeah. Their
I know
knees
guys
are
like
bad.
that.
I can't remember I popped my hip flexor trying to shoot. Like,
yes, that's right.
So I don't even shoot on when I go to wrestling practice,
Yeah, you don't need to shoot anymore. You're an old guy, dude.
I know.
Look at your hairline, right?
I know, exactly. It's already showing. It's all wisdom here. That's
yes, all wisdom. But so how to like effectively block, right?
Yeah.
And then fast gripping, requires a lot of coordination.
Yeah.
And there's sort of two types of guys that are old guys doing judo, right? Guys who have done it since they were kids and they already have their thing. And guys who started late, who are always complaining about like, oh, I should have started younger. No, you started when you started. You can't do anything about it. Don't even bitch about it.
Yeah.
If you would have started when you're younger, you might have an asshole coach. You might have torn an ACL. You're doing it now. It's the best thing, right? You're in it when you're in it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Accept it, But you got two different types of guys. You got that guy that just started maybe 5 years ago when he was like 35, 40, having like a little midlife crisis or something, right? Like, oh, I need to get back in shape. I need to feel young again. I need to be in the room to like get my heart rate up and feel like that survival mode. Be hungry, be taken down, be like in it with, kids, right? Young men and fucking, tough women, just like grappling.
Yeah.
Those guys developing a fast-paced gripping strategy is going to be very difficult. Right? Because coordination, all these things are part. Maybe you don't have it. Maybe you sat in an office for the last 20 years. Who knows? Right? So like letting the guy grip up with you and gaining dominant position, not through quick movements of like feints and attacks and cutting angles and misdirections and stuff like this, but like basic stuff.
Yeah.
Kicking the kochi, pulling the head down and like leaning the weight on him, go for one big sasai and then trying to climb up the shoulder, things like this.
Yeah.
Right.
I see. So let's actually that's a good point, like the way you divided up two people. So let's go deeper on to people who started late. So you're saying you can't really rely on fast twitching like grip fighting strategies. So can you go more into more in depth about it? Like I guess you do the shoulder roll that you really like and things like that, or
yes, for sure. But this is the thing, right? If you've been doing this since you're a kid, there's certain movements that are sort of ingrained in you. Right?
Yeah.
There's certain sensitivities that you developed through the course of time that you may be able to fire off quick things still.
Right.
Because it doesn't require, it's not like firing off a diving uchimata.
Like it's like
your leg goes to 6 p.m. 6 p.m.?
Yeah.
You get that long hand up to 12 and then the 6th head. Like, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the quick movements with the hands and the upper body, you have that. You keep that.
Your neural pathway doesn't go away, kind of thing.
Doesn't really go away. Yeah. So like you can feed something real fast and then gain position, but I'm talking about the guys who may have started when they're 35.
Yeah.
They've never done any of these movements, so it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So even the throws, you think the people can be more methodical? Like, is that what you mean? Like slower paced, more methodical throw? I can't even really.
All right. So in terms of like gaining position, right versus right, collar sleeve, we both have it, right?
Yeah.
Guy who's been doing it for a very long time.
Yeah.
They fake the real quick Tenagi,
Yeah.
right? And then feel how they react and then gain quick position, whether it's a
Yeah.
collar hand or taking the sleeve off. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they just feel that they're going to bring the hand back. So then they fake again and go coach you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's a very quick, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
right? Somebody still can do that when they're 40, 50 years old if they've been doing judo for very long.
Right. Right.
Right. And then, you go against the young guy, they might not react because he's like, oh, this guy doesn't have a drop Sanagi. Why am I going to react?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows, right? But a lot of people are like, oh my God, he's an older guy with a black belt or a brown belt. I'm like aware.
Yeah.
So you could get away with this. But if you're starting when you're 40 and you don't have these little sensitivities and these quick movements in your hands and like the natural things that, you've developed over the years and being able to read the person, then you kind of have to like go for like locked up, pulling, just be like isometrically strong, blasting him the shin with a sasai, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Pulling the head down and then climbing up the collar.
Also,
So
like
that
really,
requires-
really dominant position, like a real high grip and
Yeah.
killing
Or
the
stiff arm.
posture or stiff arm.
Yeah. And stiff arm, it's a whole thing, right? You can look up how to deal with the stiff arm in judo. I have a bunch of stuff about that. And you don't really get this in competition, because you get penalized right away. Anything that you're not going toward the throw, you're not going towards taking the person down. If you're very defensive and backing up and stiff arming, you get penalized for this.
It's very interesting that you're like saying stiff arming can be actually helpful because the almost a trope, like popular trope is that in judo is that you shouldn't stiff arm, like that's the annoying guy.
Yeah. It is an annoying guy, but it's a tool, right? You
Yeah.
can't stiff arm the whole time, obviously.
Right.
But whenever you feel in danger, stiff arm him and push him away from you. Then you take yourself out of danger for a little bit. It buys you a little bit of time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then the person's scrambling to get close, and you could exploit that.
I see. But then I guess one downside of stiff arming that I always tell people is that it kind of restricts. Yeah, it's a great defensive move, but it restricts your offense, right? Like.
Yeah.
How do you get around that? You're saying you can actually set up your counters? Then
Yeah.
I see.
So if I'm stiff arming someone, I'm an older guy, right? And I'm not as explosive. Yes, there's a lot of distance.
Yeah.
If I was a young guy, yes, I'm stiff arming, but the moment I release it and I could dive straight through, right? Because there's arm's length away if you're stiff arming somebody. So you're kind of too far.
Yeah.
And if your hips are even back more, then there's no way you're offensive at all.
Yeah.
Right? Because your legs are far away, your hips are far away, your arms aren't away. Look how far you are, like this, right?
Right.
So now all of a sudden you're going with somebody and then they're trying to come in, and then you're keeping them out, and then they try to dive in and muscle themselves, and then you let them in, and then you go underneath with a tomonage or a shitty Higashi, or even a Harai Makikomi.
Oh, wow. Makikomi. Yeah.
Because that's some good old guy stuff, because it's like, you're keeping away. They're trying to come close. The moment they do, you like clear the top arm, you rotate,
And
grab
then
that arm,
and
then
then
you
roll through.
throw your whole body down into the floor.
Yeah.
Like that's something that could be very effective and useful for an older guy. Is it a great judo? No, kind of not really. But if you're not competing and you're just in the room to like work out and it's a strategy.
Right.
And is it helpful for the guy who's competing, on the national circuit to like develop a strategy against that? Not really, but you're still a body in the room.
Yeah.
Someone to work out with, and you're doing judo, and that we need more people doing it.
Yeah.
Right? We want to keep the guys who are in the game for a long time. I want to keep those guys,
Mm-hmm.
So they sort of naturally all do a similar type of judo. It's very, very like recognizable,
I see.
And when you're in those positions, right, you can, because you're far away, because, opponent's not close, you could defend stuff better, counter stuff better. Because now if they go for a soto from that arm's length distance, they're reaching.
Yeah.
Right?
You
want to get chest to chest on a lot of this stuff. You want to go close, chest to chest, throw your hips across, all this stuff, put your weight on the person. Hard to put your weight on them if their arms are extended. Right? It's like framing in jiu-jitsu when someone's passing.
Yeah.
A lot of jiu-jitsu references now, right? Because I'm a lot of jiu-jitsu.
Well, also I think it's like you mentioned in the beginning, jiu-jitsu has a lot of this stuff kind of built in, like this more methodical way of doing things. Yeah.
For sure. It's definitely like I said, it's bodybuilding. It's like bodybuilding, right? Oh,
right.
What about delts? All right, you do overhead press. You go like this, but impingement this, and there's a hierarchy of techniques, and you go like that, and then there's body. There's all these different things that you can look at.
Right.
Of course, powerlifting too. It's very deep and intricate, but it's hard to see. You really, really need an expert, right?
Yeah.
anyone can sort of be, I'm not saying any, right, but anyone can act like what they know what they're doing. The
Yeah.
majority of the gym pop go to the gym, they do bodybuilding workouts,
Yeah. Yeah.
chest by, whatever it is,
More
back try, legs.
accessible. Yeah.
It's much more accessible. Anybody could do it. You got 40, 50-year-olds in the gym pop. You go to a gym right now, any gym
Yeah.
right near your house, right? 24-hour fitness, New York
Yeah.
Sports Club, whatever. You see a bunch of older dudes that are yoked up doing bodybuilding style workouts.
Right. Right.
How many of them you see them cleaning and jerking?
No.
What about like snatches? Not that many.
Snatches. I can't even do snatches.
Yeah, and there's a lot of requirements
Yeah.
for athleticism, the physicality of it,
Yeah.
that right can only be really like seen by a professional.
Mhm. Right. And
Yeah.
it's like that learning curve, right? Like judo
Yes.
has that huge learning curve,
Yeah.
just like Olympic lift. You have to, if you don't have it, like, yeah, you can't just like gradually clear that initial hurdle, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of counters, right, for
Yeah.
older guys. So blocking and countering, fighting for position, not
Yeah.
through like very athletic, coordinated, fast gripping sequences, but like slowly, incrementally, gating little by little.
Yeah.
And a lot of these younger guys who started young and then who have been in the judo
Yeah.
have a sensitivity, but no one's ever really teaching the people who are jumping in at an older age.
Yeah.
Right. And we need to keep those guys. Those are the most important guys, because those are the guys who most want to be away from their wives and on the mat at all times. They're the guys who have the disposable income.
Yeah.
They have their little, right? They have their little cash reserves hidden away from
Yeah.
their wives. Like those guys want to spend that, on judo privates, on judo gis. You know what I mean? Those
Yeah.
are the guys who are going to go to these tournaments.
Right.
Right? The Masters tournament.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need more
Yeah.
guys doing it,
Yeah.
And if we teach specifically judo for older guys, I
Yeah.
think that's a great thing,
Yeah.
And then for really, really older guys, we just teach them break falls.
Yeah. Which is, if you break a bone when you're
Yeah.
old, that can be very dangerous, Yeah.
Yeah, man, dude, a lot of older guys, like really old. I'm not joking around like 25 to 35
Yeah.
or like even 45. I'm talking like guys who are in their 60s and 70s are out of
Yeah.
shape. Those guys fall down, they can't get back up.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a real friggin' thing.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. You know what I mean? So like, coming down on the ground and getting back up, that's a huge, huge part of life. That's,
Yeah.
important for longevity. You know what they say, man, for longevity? Like squats, be able to sit down, get back up, be able to lie down and stand back up, and then grip strength. Those are very, very, very important indicators for longevity.
Hey, that's judo right there.
I mean, the grip strength one is an actual scientific study, right?
Why grip strength? That's
I don't
actually
know, but
interesting.
there was an actual study, right?
Okay.
All the two I just kind of made up. Yeah.
It's the Shintaro Higashi show, the ultimate source of
Shintaro Journal of Science, where all data is
Yeah.
fabricated on an anecdotal basis.
Okay,
Right.
so that's the for people who started late.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm curious about this one. A couple of questions. So you said more about you're focusing more on like gaining position little by little, and then counters and like more defensive stuff. How about foot sweeps? I feel like instead of like big turn throws, maybe foot sweeps might be good for older folk. Do you think
Yes.
But then like you need to build up that timing though. Isn't that kind of
Yes.
hard to
Yeah.
learn? Yeah.
A little bit, but everyone drills and trains too hard or too fast. If you're learning something new, you have to
Yeah.
go slow and you go very, very slow through the moves so you could talk
Yeah.
yourself through each thing so you could try to remember as many details as possible.
Mm-hmm.
When I show a sequence, and I'm at fault too because I show the technique like that, right? Like one of that, because like I forget sometimes.
It's like second nature too. Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to show them what it actually looks like when it's a little bit live, right? But when
Yeah.
you're actually drilling the stuff, you have to really go slow, and you really slow it down. It's like when they say like I can never run 10 miles.
Yeah.
People say this. Of course you can.
Yeah.
Where is the line between running and walking and jogging?
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
You could do 10 miles right now. You can walk outside, and then it may take you a very long time.
Yeah.
You could do it, right? And then can you go a little bit faster? Like, can you go 3 miles an hour? Can you go
Right,
4
right.
miles an hour? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you go 5 miles an hour and do that? And you could kind of build it up slowly. And before you knew it, you could blast through 10 miles. If I try to run 10 miles at a 10-minute mile pace, I could do that right now. I can run 10 miles at a 10-minute mile pace. But, right?
Yeah, you can
20-minute
build it
mile
up.
pace where
Yeah.
it's like walking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the line? When is it defined as walking, jogging, and running? You know, I
Right.
don't know. Maybe there's a science behind it. I'm just talking out my ass. But right in judo too, like with the timing and stuff, you could do it very slowly, taking these slow dummy steps. If we're doing 1, 2, 3, if that's a cadence of how we walk, 1,
Mhm.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2, you could be like 1, 2. There's that foot sweep.
Right.
Weights coming off that front leg. Take it out from underneath them. Wrist goes like this. Hand goes like that. You know?
But as a sensei, like I think as a dojo, you really like you really need to encourage the type of practice, I guess, because like a lot of times,
Yeah.
if a gym focuses too much on like competition, they may just like
Yeah.
run like a high school, college wrestling practice and then just like grinding
Yeah.
through. But it
Hey, man.
has to be. It's not just about people who started late learning different ways of doing judo. It's also the gym has to be supportive. The dojo has to be supportive of those people, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, how about what was I gonna say? Oh, how about so now we talked about people who started late. How about people like also who like basically built judo
Mm.
as a young person's game,
Yeah.
but now it's like gotten to the point where like my body can't do all the young person judo that I used to do.
Yeah. So,
Like
a lot of people have like these issues, right? Like
yeah,
you're a fast Seoinage guy. Like
yeah,
if you look at Nomura,
yeah,
okay, he had an unbelievably fast, explosive, athletic judo,
right,
right? And now after like multiple ACL surgeries, he can't do what he used to be able to do, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So what do? Like you hold on to that and do some of the stuff that you're able to do? Why not work a new game? You know
yeah,
what I mean? My judo is way different than when I was 15, 20, 25, 30. Even
mm,
from 5 years ago, it's very, very different.
yeah.
Right now, I've been spamming Tomonage nonstop. Tomonage. I'm like a Tomonage guy, dude. My
Really?
Tomonage is good. Like I got like
Yeah.
4 or 5 different Tomonages. Like I go for it all the time.
Oh man.
Yeah. And I could play that game, right?
Uh,
It requires a lot of different stuff. Like drop Seoinage, Morte Seoinage. I can't really do it right now.
mm, yeah,
Elbow stuff, shoulder stuff, knee pain, right?
yeah,
And I used to have a Morte Seoinage game. So it
yeah,
definitely evolves, right? But I don't want to say like the game evolves. It's like you have that. I still have that. I can still do it. I don't
yeah,
want to do it. I can
yeah,
still go over the head, hanging on the person, pulling their head down, uchibara, tile, harai,
yeah,
heavy osoto, heavy ochi, heavy counters. I could do this. I could go 2-on-1. I could go sumigaeshi game. I could go stemi game. I could do the waza transition game. I have much more wider variety of stuff. You
mm,
know, will any one of those sequences like win me an Olympic championship? No, right?
mhm,
Because when you're competing for the best, to be the best, you have to have a very, very strategical thing, like a tight
right,
game, like your A game. You have to be better at that than anybody, right? And all the different ways to be able to like deal with that, you have to be an expert in that. All the main line of defenses, all the stuff, have an answer
right,
for it. You have to have a couple of, you know, bait and switch or like these little tricks and all this stuff. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Bail out throws, like. But when you get older, I think you should explore new techniques, new ways, new strategies, and that's what keeps it fun.
yeah. I see.
And
Yeah,
if, like, let's just say, for instance, Gianni
yeah,
has a weak spot, like he has a blind spot, right? I could solely play that game against him,
mm,
you know,
mm,
as a righty. I'm saying,
yeah,
if you told me to play as a lefty, I would be terrible, And
yeah,
maybe that's something I explore too. That doesn't
yeah,
really fit with this aging judo sort of situation because maybe I'll play like an older, slower lefty judo game
uh,
that doesn't require me to have those fast turn throws.
right, right,
I could probably do that, right? That could be fun,
yeah. Or
you know?
like no turn judo that you talked
Yeah.
about. Yeah,
Maybe I'll just be like fully lefty, all no turn judo, just countering and blocking. You know what?
yeah.
That's my next thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna
Okay.
fight as a lefty now,
Uh,
blocking and countering. That's it. I bet you I could
oh,
do that. I bet you I could do that.
yeah. That would be
I bet
very
you I could do
interesting. It'd be a new challenge, and
that. Yeah.
yeah,
But that's how you're supposed to do it. Like guys like me who've been doing it, you can't just rely on the same shit over and over
yeah,
because your ability to throw that fast blasting two-step Uchimata, that's going to go away.
yeah,
Little by little, your speed's going to fade, your athleticism will fade, right? You start doubting yourself. I'm not as fast. You get
yeah,
counted when, it's gonna fade, right? So he's going to like develop new things and
yeah.
that's what makes it fun,
I guess
you know?
I went through that too. Like
Yeah.
I used to spam Serenage, but my
Yeah.
knees can't take that much anymore.
Yeah.
So I changed my game. I'm not gonna reveal it here because
Yeah.
cool. All
Peter
right,
coming
yeah,
to a dojo near you.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just everyone's gonna be surprised. All right, well, I think we covered a lot. For more visual stuff, you can check out Shintaro's new series, Judo for Old Guys. You
Well,
know,
not series yet. I have one
not
video.
series, yeah,
Judo
one
for Old
video.
Guys.
Oh, I thought it's gonna be a series. Okay, so one video, bro.
Maybe. How to stiff arm properly might be a next video. That's an exciting
Okay.
one, right?
Yeah.
It's actually gonna do the judo community a disservice. It's be very annoying. Now no one's gonna do judo.
But then
after
it's like if that allows more people to stay in the game, then
That's true.
Net positive. And that's a net positive. Yeah.
Yes, that's very true because retention's more important than
Yeah.
grabbing new guys.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I don't know about that. They're both important.
They're both important, but you know,
Yeah.
one you
Yeah.
know, it's if you can increase the retention rate, you know, it's
Yep.
always good. All right. Well, anything else we missed?
Oh man, look out for more Judo for Old Guys stuff on my YouTube.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a video.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening as always, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.